Good afternoon. My name is Ahn Myeong Chul. I would like to thank everyone from all around the world at the Geneva Summit for giving me the opportunity to talk about North Korean human rights violations today. I've heard that a lot of survived previous prisoners from the political camps witnessed and testified on this spot. I'm different from them because I used to be a former guard of North Korean political prison camps. I, as an attacker and also as a victim of the system, watched prisoners to make sure that they would not succeed in running away from the camps and tortured them. I was prestigiously selected at the age of 19 to work as a guard in a political prison camp due to my elite family background, because my father worked for the government as a party officer. There are two types of political prison camps: revolutionizing zones and total control zones. While revolutionizing zones allow the release of prisoners after 3 years, the total control zones capture only families and relatives related to fugitives in order to separate them from the fugitives. The total control zones are modern-day barracoon, where all the prisoners, regardless of their gender and age, will be killed after forced heavy workload. As you can see from the picture, until now, there are 6 political prison camps in total, and 150,000 to 200,000 people in number is kept within under the strict control of the National Security Department. Numerous guards, including me, get educations on that. Number 1, prisoners are anti-revolutionary and anti-government traitors. That if prisoners defy authorities or attempt to escape, guards are allowed to kill them, as number 2. Number 3, that if a guard catches an escapee, the guard will be sent to the university as an award. Number 4, that if guards express sympathy towards the prisoners or do favors of prisoners, not only the guards but also their entire families will be punished. This photograph on the screen is a captured scene from a film secretly recorded by one of the Japanese TV stations a few years ago. The photo captures the daily bathroom cleaning time of the prisoners. For the first 3 years, my task was to make sure that there is no attempted escape on the outside of the political prison camp. At that time, I regarded all the prisoners as vicious evils, as the government taught me to do. This another drawing on the screen depicts a smaller prison within the camp. The smaller prison will capture prisoners who violated regulations within the camp. Along severe usage of physical violence on the prisoners, the drawing illustrates several prisoners having free time to get sunlight once in a week.
본인이 구타를 하는 것을 제가 이제 그린 것이 되겠습니다. 다음 생각을 하고
All these drawings show pictures that I drew myself while I wrote my memoirs of working as a political prison camp guard in North Korea. As you can see from this slide, which describes on how the prisoners are treated, all the guards, including me, used physical violence on prisoners on a daily basis. All the guards, including me, practiced taekwondo on prisoners just like the government told us to do. Furthermore, because of the award system of sending the guard who caught an escapee to the university, one of my friends set up a situation which would like catching an escapee, but in fact, he just dragged random prisoners from their working shifts to deserted field, killed them, filed their false report, and made it to the university. The previous drawing shows how the public execution is arranged, and executing people in public is one of methods for the government to create terror in order to prevent further escapes. 6 months after I entered the camp, I witnessed an incident which the guard dogs attacked 5 children who were younger than the age of 15.
하면 성견이 됩니다. 그랬을 때 이 개들이 이제 지나가는 정치범 어린이 5명을 덮쳤었는데 그때 당시
The security dogs are trained for 10 months by smelling pungent smell coming from the prisoners. The security dogs from the drawings actually got compliments from the authority that they were raised in fine quality and feature.
그러면서 그때부터 매일과 같이 정치범들을 만나게 됐고 그런
After 3 years of my service as a guard, I was selected as a driving guard, and that was the moment for me to meet more prisoners and to ask questions such as where they are from and why they are captured in the camp.
뭔지는 모릅니다. 물어보면 뭐라고 하냐면 사회 밖에서
However, more than 90% of the prisoners who I met did not know why they were even locked up in the camp. When I asked them why they are in the camp, they told me that in the middle of the night, when they were sleeping with their parents, a truck from the security department suddenly came in to arrest the whole family. When they got off the truck, it happened to be the camp, and the security guards informed them that they were arrested due to the crimes that one of their great-great-grandfathers committed.
제라고 있는 것인데 그래서 제가 있었던 수용소는 완전 통제 구역이라고 해서 한 번 들어가면 다시는 못 나오는 곳입니다.
Inside of the political prison camp, there were children who got picked up in the middle of their sleep, as well as children who were born in the camp through the award system of allowing exemplary prisoners of opposite gender to have sexual intercourse.
그때는 나쁜 사람이라고 했는데 집에서 잠을 자던 애가
As I was thinking that what kinds of crimes that sleeping children as well as babies born in the camp can possibly commit, I got more and more confused. After 8 years, I was sent out for vacations and was permitted to return to my hometown.
여동생이 집에 있었어야 합니다. 근데 집에 갔더니 아무도 없어요. 그래서 어떻게 된 거지? 옆집 사람
When I went back,
주고 나가니까 중앙에서 각 지역에 있는 식량 배급소들마다
I was told by the neighbors, not even from my family members, that my father had committed suicide. North Korea was going through a severe famine, and on a drunken night, my father, as one of the heads of the food distribution centers, blamed the government for not having enough food to eat. Also blaming the government of Kim Jong-il regime. The next day, realizing the offense he had committed, my father drank poison and passed away.
북한은 연자제라고 있어요. 죄를 지은 본인 외 가족을 다 처벌하는 그 연자제라고.
Because of my father's crime, my mother, my younger sister, and my younger brother were placed under strict surveillance and were eventually taken away.
수용소 경비대에서 하루아침에 정치범이 될 수 있는 위기에 있었습니다. 그래서 그때서야 저는 이제 정신이 번쩍 들은 거죠. 그리고 수용소에 갇혀 들었던 사람들이 심리를 그때서야 이해를 하게 됐습니다.
I was not exception to this strict surveillance, and that was the moment when I truly began to understand how prisoners felt under the system of injustice.
했지만 정치범 2명은 탈출에 실패를 했고
That was the moment when I decided to defect.
무사히 입국할 수가 있었습니다. 그래서 현재
I defected through China and successfully arriving in South Korean territory. I'm currently working as a North Korean human rights activist under the organization called Free NK Gulag in order to dismantle the system of political prison camps and to promote release of prisoners.
작년에 유엔에서 북한 인권조사위원회 COI가 설립이 됐을 때 저는 가장
Last March, when the United Nations established the COI, Commission of Inquiry on Human Rights in the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, I participated in investigation of overall North Korean human rights crisis. During the investigation, I have testified the most, and the COI report laid out the fact that North Korea carries out systematic crimes against humanity just in order to maintain dictatorship throughout 3 generations of the Kim family. The COI report came up with very well analyzed status on the DPRK. The DPRK's government, however, stated that the COI reports as false and that they will not take the report accountable in just one sentence.
북한 주민들의 생명을
For now, North Korean human rights crisis cannot be solved only by the North Korean people.
처집니다. 그래서 제가 나름대로 그러면 북한 이 수용소를 북한의 인권 문제를 어떻게 해결할
As North Korea is one and only country without freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of assembly, or any form of freedom, I felt the reality of the North Korean people who cannot overcome this crisis with any external assistance. Last December, people all around the world witnessed that the current North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un mercilessly killed his uncle Jang Song-taek. The current regime of the DPRK brutally killed one of the relatives of the dictator, so they would kill their people as easy as killing flies within a second. And this is the reality that North Korean people are facing today. Thus, North Korean human rights crisis will not get any resolutions without international community's help, and the international community must become aware of the continuing North Korean human rights violations and must act upon this issue. First of all, the international community should strongly file claims against the persons and perpetrators responsible for crimes against humanity to the ICC, International Criminal Court. Additionally, the international society should press the DPRK to react upon the UPR, Universal Periodic Review, and to act upon its recommendations. In other words, the DPRK's crimes against humanity and instances of abuse must be investigated, recorded, and given to the UN to manage.
알려주어서 그들 스스로가
Moreover, other states should use all the functional methods to pressure the DPRK, including cutting all the diplomatic strings attached to the DPRK, following what Botswana did. Finally, all this factual information should be distributed to the North Korean people to spread the citizens' awareness on promoting human rights and democracy and to introduce activities done by the UN as well as the international society. In addition, current and former guards and security agents in North Korea must be educated to know that their actions have been brainwashed and controlled and are considered a human rights violation.